Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk about the latest episode of Batwoman. It was called Rebirth, and it starts off with Batwoman seemingly helping out a citizen who is being attacked by some kind of mugger or what have you, and the attacker ends up getting away, but when she needs help for the citizen, medical help or whatever, she can't seem to reach the team. It looks like Luke was AFK, away from keyboard or away from the console, as it were. At the Batcave, he was out clearing his head. When we finally see Luke, after Batwoman gets back to the Batcave, he seems well healed physically, which is good, but at the same time, odd, given that it doesn't seem like that much time has passed since he was shot and almost died. But there you go. Then we flash over to Black Mask headquarters, and who's there but Ra's al Ghul? I mean, Sophia. Why? I don't know. I guess she's back in Gotham because she wants the remaining Desert Rose. She must have got wind of the fact that one exists. I don't know. But she's talking with Black Mask, and she tells him, you know, that wasn't too bright, bringing the freshly brainwashed Kate and Alice together, given that they have a connection that might have made it hard for Kate's brainwashing not to evaporate. Anyway, the next thing we see is Alice and Jacob, who have now teamed up since Alice informed him that Kate is still alive, in the process of kidnapping Kate, who is going by Cersei. So they got her, which was pretty good, because at this point, even though it was dumb, if they're going to have Kate in the show, you want to see her brought back to her senses. And that's what Alice is going to try to do and hopefully succeed at. And you also, at this point, want to see the family healed, finally. You know, you want to see them ultimately be able to put everything else in the past and get along. You know, the fact that Kate was Batwoman and working against the Crows sometimes, the fact that Alice was crazy and doing various things that harmed not only everyone in Gotham, but the family. You want to see Mary and Kate reunited, and you want to see them all be able to be a family again. I mean, it would be a good thing, right? So my reaction to them kidnapping her was good. They got her. They can start giving her her memory back. I didn't think it was going to happen that soon. We learn shortly thereafter that Tatiana, Sophia's right hand in all affairs of the island, is the attacker from the open of the show. Why is she killing people? I guess it's Cersei's former victims, the real Cersei's former victims that she had robbed or maimed or whatever. She's going around killing them for some reason. No idea. But they run Cersei's DNA and find out that it's Kate's. But she doesn't accept the truth. So Alice brings in some of her childhood items for Jacob to jog Kate's memory with, and that was good. Alice spends a few moments in this scene just being a normal person, just being someone who is trying to get her sister back and trying to have the right thing happen. And it was just very cool to see her being a normal person, because the actor is fantastic, the actress that plays the part. And I'm a sucker for redemption stories. So if they can take Alice and move her from this like one-dimensional mustache twirling evil person, psychopath, and turn her into someone normal and sympathetic and that you care about, which so far I think they've been doing. And if they can bring that to the, full circle and have her finally shed the Alice persona and just be Beth, it would be really great. And I think we're seeing glimmers of that happening now, and I just enjoyed it. Now, we cut to a different thing where Luke goes to like this bar that only cops are supposed to be able to get into, or law enforcement. And he confronts Tartaroff, the guy that shot him, the sort of dirty cop, crow guy that shot him. And this whole part of the episode is where they show the cementing of the hero-enemy relationship that these two characters have in the comics. I thought it was pretty cool, given that they're going to bring in the whole Batwing thing. They're going to make Luke into Batwing in the coming episodes. Now, during all of this, Diggle shows up, and he's kind of observing what's going on and taking it all in and being kind of a fly on the wall. So that was pretty cool. It was good to see Diggle again. Before we get any more of that, we go back to Alice and the gang trying to jog Kate's memory, and Alice takes her own turn at jogging Kate's memory. And again, we get to see her sort of try to connect, and she was being human and normal, and it was just really, really cool. And it seemed to kind of work because Kate kind of accepts the reality that, okay, I think maybe I'm actually Kate. So that was pretty cool as well. We then flash back to what Luke is up to, and he's having a conversation with, I think it was Ryan, and he's talking about how he wanted to, was it Ryan or Diggle? I don't remember. Anyway, he's talking about how he wanted to die. He would have been happy to die at that point to see his dad, and he's bitter about having been saved, which is unfortunate. But that does track with what we saw when he was experiencing his near-death experience. So from that point of view, I thought it was good. I don't like that he feels that way, but I thought it tracked with what came before, so that was good. Now we flash back again to Alice and Jacob, who are being attacked by Black Mask's goons alongside Tatiana, and they kind of send Kate away and say, get out of here, and they take on the attackers. Kate then is sort of out in the world and runs into Ryan as Batwoman, and Batwoman's like, are you Kate Kane? And she's like, can I get back to you on that? Which was kind of funny. Ryan takes Kate back to the Batcave and takes off her mask, so she basically reveals that she's Batwoman in front of who might still be Cersei and not necessarily Kate. But Kate then recognizes Sophie, which was really cool because, you know, again, they had a connection, just like Alice and Kate have a connection, and it seemed to really jog her memory more and convince her that she is, in fact, Kate, which was really cool. But then we cut back to Black Mask, who has managed to kidnap Jacob, and he's sort of threatening him. And Jacob says, you know, he'll report him to the police or whatever. And it turns out that Black Mask's goons, of course, are police, which is not surprising, you know, that the villain has cops on his payroll. And they kind of put the screws to Jacob, which really sucks. But anyway, Diggle ends up having to stop a fight between Luke and Tartaroff there, or whatever his name is, Tartaroff. And that was pretty cool. I was hoping we were going to see some Green Lantern action, but we didn't, even though we know he has a ring. But he kind of has a pep talk with Luke and tells him, you know, you're doing a good job. You know, you can't think that way, you know, that you don't want to be here and so forth. So that was pretty good. And I think it's the talk that we're going to see later that, you know, inspires him to become Nightwing or Batwing, not Nightwing, Batwing. Anyway, Jacob winds up arrested, and as he's being taken in, he's being sort of pestered by the press, and he says some stuff about, you know, what's going on. And he says, I want everyone to, you know, don't think so much about Alice, because they're busting his chops that Alice is his daughter. And he's like, listen, remember Beth. I want you to remember Beth in all of this, who is, you know, who Alice really is. She has a humanity. And Alice heard him saying all this stuff while she was in captivity with Black Mask. And I just thought it was great stuff that she got to see her father saying, you know, yeah, Alice did some stuff, but she's really Beth. And there is humanity there. There is a person of value there. And everybody should remember that. And I just thought it was great that she saw that. So Ryan shows up to save Alice and gets her out of there. And, you know, she's asked at one point, why did you stick your neck out for Alice? Why did you stick your neck out for Kate? And she says, I owe a debt to the symbol that Kate created. It gave me a second chance at life. And I thought that was great too, because that's what heroes do. That's how heroes think. That's how heroes behave. And again, people were down on this character, Ryan, in the beginning, saying, oh, she's always saying, woe is me. She's she's playing the victim, and she since then has shown many times that she's not doing that really anymore. And this was just another feather in that cap where you could say, see, she knows, she gets it, she's grateful. And I just think it's great for the character. There's nothing wrong with having a character who's woe is me and playing the victim, as long as they evolve, as long as you show them evolve. And that's what's happening. So I thought that was a great moment. But Alice returns to her headquarters to find Ocean or reconnect with Ocean, and she finds Tatiana there, and she's apparently killed Ocean. So she knifes Tatiana, and she's just devastated that it seems like Ocean is dead. Whether he is or not, we don't know yet, but it seems like he is, and she's just devastated because she really cares for him, and that was kind of a bummer. The next thing we see is that Jacob calls Mary from jail, and he says, you know, I didn't realize it until now, but what happened with Alice isn't her fault. It took what happened to Kate for me to see it, and I'm ashamed of that, but the fact is, Kate and Beth have both been, or currently are, both buried under other personalities. And he goes on about how he realizes now what actually happened to Beth and which made her into Alice. And he feels badly that it happened and badly about his past actions. And he tells Mary to save them. He says, save them both. You need to save them both. In case I don't get out of here, in case this goes badly and I wind up stuck in here, save them. And he says, I love you to her. So I just thought it was really great because it's true. What happened to Alice isn't her fault. She was buried under another personality that was put onto her. And the fact that he now sees that because of what happened to the other daughter right in front of him, whereas with Alice, it didn't happen right in front of him because he hadn't seen her for years. Whereas he had contact with Kate and then saw her personality subverted after she had supposedly died. So it was more fresh in his mind that, you know, what she used to be like versus what she's stuck being now. And I just thought it was great that he finally gets it. And I thought it was great that he, you know, told Mary, this is our mission now. We have to save them. Then Kate actually confronts Black Mask and she says, am I Kate Kane? And Sophia says, you know, to Black Mask, you should come clean with Kate and let her know the real deal. So we're going to see whether or not he does that, I guess, in this next episode. And it'll be interesting. But I thought this was a pretty good episode. I don't know why they brought Sophia back. I don't think that was necessary. Maybe it'll turn out to be something that makes sense. But I thought that they moved the ball forward quite a bit on this whole Kate is back plot, which is good because if they had dragged it out, it would have been very soap opera. You know, like, when is she going to get her memory back? Well, how long is this going to go on? They've done exactly these things, exactly this thing with various characters on various soap operas where they've lost their memory and they don't know who they really are. And they drag it out and drag it out and drag it out. This is not being dragged out. And I'm glad for that. So I thought this was a good episode. And I look forward to the next episode, which I will, of course, come here to review. Until then, I say, as always, peace and long life.